Hey everyone, I'm Scott from Superphase, and this is our review of Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. In 90s arcades, there was no greater force than Mortal Kombat, and now NetherRealm's brutal beginnings have come complete to PC and console. Digital Eclipse's Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection wields 11 Midway games in 23 different versions, with ports ranging all the way from the original arcade to Game Boy. If you grew up playing Mortal Kombat, there's an excellent chance the version you remember is playable in this package. But that's not all Digital Eclipse has to offer, as the classics return with new features, online multiplayer, and a huge amount of behind-the-scenes content. You can even master fatalities in a specialized training mode. I can still remember seeing players line up in arcades for Mortal Kombat, and I've spent hundreds of hours with Ultimate Mortal Kombat and MK Trilogy at home. The love and respect for this series is undeniable, and it feels good to have a release pay such homage to the bloody roots of Mortal Kombat. The first 3 games were released as an arcade collection in 2011, but were eventually delisted and haven't been readily available to players on the digital storefront since. These and many more return now, alongside the arcade port of Mortal Kombat 4 and PlayStation's Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It goes without saying that I've been looking forward to a grand collection like this for quite some time. The team put in painstaking work to include so many versions of the classics, including hidden surprises like the discontinued Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet, which was considered lost media up until this release. Other inclusions I wasn't expecting to see were Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero and Mortal Kombat Special Forces, both lackluster PlayStation titles that lived on as jokes rather than the beloved classics they accompany. Nevertheless, they are part of Midway's legacy, and it's good to have them even if it's just for laughs. Not only is your favorite classic Mortal Kombat back, it's fully loaded with new features and improvements. Digital Eclipse has given these versions a suite of settings to configure, practice modes, fatality trainers, and the instant rewind feature. The provided scanline filters are particularly impressive, especially when framed with the reflective bezels of arcade cabinets, CRT televisions, and authentic-looking handhelds. Another favorite feature provides the ability to tag moves and combos to the sides of the screen while you play. Accessibility this good tempts even a casual like me into partaking in multiplayer. Unfortunately, the Legacy Collection isn't the flawless victory many have been hoping for. Yes, the collection supports online play across all of the classics, but the main draw is online arcade, and it's still being touched up by Digital Eclipse. The first major update has already come to Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox consoles, but is currently awaiting approval by Nintendo. The patch addresses input lag, bugs, and various sound issues, but the quality of online play still isn't where it needs to be. What immediately struck me is how well curated this collection is. Titles are easy to scan and filter through, and the user interface is brimming with that grim 90s MK flavor. Diving into the crypt, you'll bear witness to the beating heart of Mortal Kombat itself, with the finest video game documentary I have ever experienced. Digital Eclipse could have merely offered interviews and behind-the-scenes content, and I would have considered it a treat. Instead, the in-game documentary runs along an interactive timeline, stopping at each event stemming from the very inception of Ed Boon and John Tobias's work. You'll watch video interviews, inspect concept art, examine flyers, documents, and even 3D renderings of official box art for each release. Having access to the games themselves dotted along the timeline was the cherry on top, allowing players to easily pop into each title there and then to explore. After seeing everything the Legacy Collection has to offer, I'd refer to it more as an interactive museum rather than the heap of retro classics it's been marketed as. If you played Digital Eclipse's Atari 50, you'll have an idea of what to expect, but this documentary is their finest yet. I've had a ton of fun revisiting the games I grew up with, but for my money, the crypt is the main event. Digital Eclipse have created a collection immortalizing the origin of video game brutality, and though it's worthy of praise, it isn't free from some justified criticism. In its current state, the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection can't be recommended to every fan of the classics, and it's an honest shame. This isn't the first Digital Eclipse fighting collection to offer a poor online experience to its players, and it's confusing to see them struggle with latency all over again in an even more anticipated release. That said, the new features for each title make the games you remember more fun than they've ever been, but including so many different versions of MK1, 2, and 3 doesn't enhance the experience much. Sure, these entries are good for a quick dose of nostalgia, but you'll quickly want to spend your time playing the far superior arcade versions of these games. Though players like me will certainly appreciate all the extra content on display, those hoping to play online or keep Mortal Kombat alive in the online fighting game community will be disappointed. If you're willing to wait for some vital fixes to hopefully stabilize the multiplayer, then this collection is an easy recommendation for fans nostalgic enough to return to the fight for Earthrealm. We here at Superphase give Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection a 7 out of 10. Thanks for taking the time to check out Superphase and our review of Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Don't forget to subscribe for more gaming reviews, updates, and discussions. We really appreciate your feedback and support. Be safe, be well, and cheers!